Roast decal. This is actually take two of going live with podcast. I've learned two things. One, always check your levels before you start. Apparently, I was streaming with an entirely muted mic. So that's fantastic. About 20 minutes of my life gone. Hopefully, not 20 minutes of your life gone. I deleted it, yada yada. Also, the other important thing is turn off Discord while you're streaming if you're easily distracted. And probably also lesson three is I should probably put my phone somewhere that it's not going to vibrate against this wooden desk. But anyway, so yeah, welcome back to Splus Gaming. It's been a minute. I will say I was brilliant when I was doing take one, and it's unfortunate that you couldn't hear anything I was saying because it was pretty fantastic. At least I think so. What am I doing? Why am I here? When I first started the podcast, or when I first started the streaming, I had an idea about what I wanted to do. I want to create some content. I want to stream some games. I want to be involved in the gaming ecosphere. The problem that I had when I was doing all of that before was that I was setting some unfortunate expectations for myself. I didn't expect to become an internet sensation overnight. I didn't expect that things were just going to go my way and everyone was going to love me. But as far as the quality of production, as far as how I was going to approach things, I kind of felt like I was letting myself down. And I didn't. A huge dose of imposter syndrome. If I look at who I am a great communicator. If I'm taking a personal inventory of the things that I do well, I feel like I'm a great communicator. I am totally immersed in gaming as a hobby, whether that's board games, card games, video games. I love to game. I feel like I have some good insights into games, and I know what works. I know what works for me, what doesn't work in general, what doesn't work for me. And I feel like I can articulate those thoughts fairly well, and I feel that that is useful content to share with people. But I felt like I was missing the mark. I felt like I wasn't really getting that across, and I felt like I was kind of getting caught up in the game of becoming monetized. Obviously, I would love to make money at doing this, even if it's, a couple bucks. If I could do this as a career, fantastic. But what I don't want this to be is an engine to those ends. I'm not going to sit here and create a stream for the sole intent purpose of making money. I'm not going to set things up and try to market myself in such a way that I only care about, how many people are on, how much money does that translate to, can I get sponsored, all those kinds of fun things. If those things happen, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to take it for all it's worth, but I do have a good career. I have worked really hard to get where I am, and I've done pretty well for myself. One of my primary goals, just in the whole getting to know me thing, was to really be able to take care of my younger daughter in the best way I possibly could, with a secure life, having a home that she grew up in, all the white picket fence things that we, or at least I, want for my kids. I was not able to do that with my older daughter. She's now 25. She's living a life on her own. She's doing fantastic with that. She's learning who she is. And even if I wasn't able to provide well for her or always do the best fatherly things that I could, she found a way to be happy with her life, and that is all I could ever want. And whatever she's doing is great. She actually has her own photography business, which she started and is propagated on her own. And she's, I don't know about the financials of that, but as far as the content that she provides for that, it's top drawer. It's great. And I love seeing her happy with it. And that's the most important thing. But my younger daughter, I wanted to do better. So I had this great big plan for things, which included my career development and all that kind of stuff to provide security and all that fun jazz for her. And I think I've done pretty well. There have been some curveballs. Not everything is how I dreamed it would be, but, being able to adjust for life and still coming out on top for this is what I hope we all aim for. COVID has really messed with her ability to socialize. She is a very social creature. Uh, Having to do online school is just been not really great for her. Not even, well, primarily because she isn't able to interact physically with other kids. She's found a way to manage that. Some approved, some not approved. But now that things are winding down and all the adults in the house are getting immunized for COVID, she is she's looking forward to going back to school next year and is excited and eager to do so to a brick and mortar school. So I'm really happy for her. Anyway, point being is that this whole thing was about kind of propping her up for success as she grows up. A lot of people have the perspective of, oh my gosh, I don't want my kids to grow up. They need to stop growing so fast, and I make jokes about that, but really, I am excited to see who she's going to become. She's a phenomenal human being in every way. Even at 10 years old, she's one of the best people I know. So anyway, long story short, that's going good. Maybe not as best as I would like in some ways, but it's going good. And if nothing changed in that regard, I'd be happy. So how that relates to what I'm doing now with the game streaming is really just that this is a combination of hobby and feeling the need to contribute to something that I love. I think it's easy to be a spectator. I think it's almost as easy to be a participant. If I'd never streamed anything, if I never talked about it, I could still enjoy gaming. But some of the times that I'm happiest with gaming is when I'm talking about gaming, when I'm processing those things that I love about the gaming, when I find something that works, or there's a new mechanic in a game, or there's something innovative, or something is just brilliant and beautiful. That makes me happy, and it makes me happy to analyze and discuss those things and to share with people. So streaming gives me a pretty wide audience for being able to do that, and that's what I want to do. So anyway, setting it all up before, I kind of got caught up in some things, trying to get as many viewers as I can, doing the open up all the iPads, set up as many accounts as we have, for the sole express purpose of gaming the system and trying to get sponsored, monetized, or whatever that works with Twitch and YouTube. And that drove some of the decisions that I made, and it was also the metric that I used to gauge my success. Not really the outcome I was looking for, and I started feeling a little depressed by my ineffectiveness with that, and then getting some imposter syndrome there. Like, really, is this something that I can do effectively? Is what I have to say even worth anything to anybody? And the truth is that doesn't matter as much as my need to share, my need to give something out there. The gaming community has its flaws, but they're my people. And you're my people, I guess. If you're watching this, you're probably a gamer. I don't expect too many wood carving hobbyists to come my way. But hey, if you do, great. But that's to say that it's just what I want to do. It's what I need to do. I'm not a very creative person, but this really speaks to what I'm going to be doing. I want to be effective. I don't want to be famous. So that's what I need to look at and do those things that help propel me forward in that direction. One of the goals that I had originally was to kind of upgrade the gear that I'm using. I need to get some lighting. I need to get better sound equipment. This is a pretty raw format, and when I looked at my previous videos, that also kind of started to get on my nerves. But being the hyper budgeter that I am these days, which has been nothing but phenomenal and healthy and really effective, a lot of my debt has been paid off even since the last time I tried to do this a couple months ago. It's been all good things, but with that, I need to maintain that responsibility. And in this regard, that means budgeting for the equipment that I want to upgrade with, rather than just going out and buying everything like I might have done a year or two ago. Having some sense or some financial success for someone who grew up not really having any idea about how to manage finances. Was fun, but was not a great thing. I got myself into a lot of trouble with debt. I still have student debt looming over me, but now I'm at a place where I can start focusing on whittling that down. Big things like a house. I think buying a house is a valid form of debt that can be a really healthy thing as long as you do it well. We've got a great interest rate. I didn't buy the house with a great interest rate, but since, COVID stuff and housing markets, the value of my house has gone up a lot. The interest rate that I'm paying has gone down quite a bit. So doing good in that area, making smart decisions there. I don't know what that has anything to do with any of this, except to say that I need to be smart about how I approach, getting all the equipment that I want. It's not going to be cheap. I think I could do well with, not top of the line stuff, but that's still in the works. I kind of got caught up in other things, and we've had some financial shifts, some things that have come up, I guess, that while unfortunate, because we became budgeters, we were actually able to recover from those, that shift in the wind rather well, and not have it hanging over our head. And that's really, I guess, the biggest change in things, is that when something emergent comes up, when something bad comes up, we're able to react to that and take care of it, and it doesn't set us back. There was a time where, a medical bill or something like that, and suddenly I'm start thinking about which bills aren't going to get paid, the quality of the food we buy that month not really, being as great as we would hope. Turning up the levels a little bit. Looks like I'm a bit quiet, but anyway, it's good stuff. I want to keep doing good stuff with that, and my approach to the streaming channel is going to follow the same vein. So this is going to be a journey. My equipment should improve month over month, and I hope to have this be a much better produced production in a fairly short time. But I want to start streaming now for two reasons. One is I feel this urge now. This is, I think I would be doing myself a disservice if I were to feel a creative urge and not do something with that. All right, thank you. So volume is great. That's good. One thing that I don't have to worry about, and I'm not muted, which is so much better. Anyway, so I also want to kind of keep a historical benchmark of where things are. I am an analyzer. I am going to constantly review my previous content, look for ways to do things better, keep track of what's working, what's not, from my own personal perspective. Obviously, if you're watching this and there's anything that you would like to see or you would like to suggest, I'll listen. Doesn't mean I'll make the change, but ultimately it's about what I'm happy with. But I am always open to ideas, and I will always consider things. So with that in mind, I want to see, when I look back, where I started. I want to be able to review those things. I want to see my growth as it goes. I want to see success when that happens. That's part of the whole imposter syndrome, with thinking that maybe I don't have a right to be doing this. I'm fueled by my own success. I believe success is a personal choice that we make every day. But also at the same time, historical analysis is always a good idea. So as far as what I plan to stream, when I originally had some ideas about how to do this, I wanted to... Cyberpunk was actually Cyberpunk 2077. I had an idea about, hey, I love the Cyberpunk setting. I've played it as an RPG many times in the past. A long time ago in the past, though, to be honest. And I love the setting. I love CD Projekt Red's work. Cyberpunk was not a solid release. I bought that. I pre-ordered that the moment I could. Like within 5 minutes of when pre-orders went live, I ordered the stinking thing. But anyone who's followed the fiasco of the launch knows that things were not ready. things were not prepared for low-end systems. Um, some of the comments that have come from the design team have been questionable. Their treatment of investors. I mean, it is a shit show. I don't intend to curse too much on the channel, but I mean, there's really no better term for what's all happened with that. So I did fire it up when I originally got when I got my PS5. I had thought there was going to be an optimized patch from day one. That was not the case, and that's even been pushed further out due to everything else that's going on. But I did start a character there, ran into a couple bugs, started to become aware of the debacle that was going on, and put it aside. I don't know that they're ever going to have it at a state that I would consider finished enough. But for now, it's getting closer there. There's a major patch that's coming that's supposed to fix a lot of stuff. I got a refund on the PlayStation, which, even though I had downloaded it, I know they had made exceptions for how that was all going to work. I originally wanted to play it on PS5 as a native optimized app, but I think when it's time to play again, hopefully I can find a sale on it. I'm going to play on PC. They seem to have gotten better treatment on the PC version of the game, so, which is really sad because there's a lack of good content for PS5 right now. So there's that, and that's something else to talk about, but a different thing. So anyway, I had planned on, hey, Cyberpunk's going to go live. It's going to be a phenomenal game. I'm going to become an expert on the game, maybe become one of those content creators that's just kind of known for a game, like Rax for Diablo 3. He's a phenomenal host. He is passionate about Diablo, and it shows in everything that he does with Diablo. I had thought maybe I could do that with Cyberpunk or something else coming down the road. But as I kind of faded back away and didn't find satisfaction in what I was doing, there's been a lot of thought about why that was. And to be frank, I'm not the guy that can sit and play any one game for years and years and years. I'm never going to be that guy. The one exception to that is Gems of War for some reason. I have been playing that game for over a year now, like pretty much every single day. Actually, I am 99% sure that I have played that every single day since I picked it back up. I got my wife into the game. My younger daughter's playing the game. But that's also, I'm not... I play that every day because it's a progression kind of thing, not because I'm like enjoying it so much that I feel the need to play. I do the daily stuff that I'm doing, and aside from about a period of a week in December, I've been really happy with how that goes. But I play my daily stuff, and then I put it aside and play other things. I don't ever keep playing just to farm gold or because I'm enjoying it. It's a match 3 game, for crying out loud. It is not immersive enough to keep my attention all day, every day. It was when I first started playing it, and I was still progressing some stuff, but now I'm in high-end content. I've got most of the troops that I want. I've got my kingdoms leveled up pretty well. I'm not going to be able to make much more progression than I am now if I play more than that, except to just get more gold, and I'm running out of things to spend gold on. So I do my daily stuff. That's not what I'm passionate about gaming about. But I do play MMOs. When last we spoke, I was playing World of Warcraft quite a bit. I love new expansions. I love the... I don't even know how to call it. The mini expansions, I mean, basically it's a block of expansions. You get, like 9.1, I believe is the current version, or 9.0.5. Something like that. I don't really know. I've stopped playing WoW, and thus my knowledge of such is not as much as it had been. But every time a new expansion rolls around, I love seeing the new content. I love the new game mechanics, which is exactly why I'm not able to get into World of Warcraft Classic, despite all my friends' insistence that I try. I've tried, didn't like. World of Warcraft has only gotten better, in my opinion, over time. Some of the storyline stuff, some of the focuses, it's about every other expansion, I think is great. Currently, with Shadowlands. I love Shadowlands as an idea, but once I had done all the stuff, it started to feel a little bit old, and I felt like I was just doing the whole "it's a job" thing instead of enjoying what I was logging in to play every day. So, sadly, World of Warcraft is not what I'm playing anymore. I'm considering coming back at 9.1, but I think World of Warcraft has come to a point where it is a fond memory. I might log in every now and again, but I always, every time there's a new expansion, I think, especially the expansions I like Shadowlands and Legion, I think this is the one. This is the one that's going to keep my attention, and I'm going to keep playing it forever. I'm going to start raiding and all that. Well, a couple things. One is I find no enjoyment in raiding anymore. I used to raid with Jinx, who's the clothing company who does all the licensed World of Warcraft t-shirts and all that kind of stuff. That was my heyday with raiding. We had a world first. I was raiding with some pretty popular raiders. We were knocking out some goals. For the time I was doing that, it was what I was enjoying in gaming. And I don't regret that at all. But it took a toll on me. There's, I mean, literally a physical impact to raiding that much. It impacted my family, which at the time, actually, when I was married, when I was raiding with them and stuff, she was great with it. She was very supportive of it. So I don't want it to seem like I was doing this thing that was harmful. It had an impact. And as my daughter was born and grew older, just those time commitments for raiding were just not compatible with my life, and I had started to feel mentally drained. So that's not what I'm going to enjoy doing, despite the best of intentions in that regard. And I know there's looking for raid, but frankly, I feel like that's just, throw a bunch of people together and hopefully you'll get lucky and finish it. I've never been satisfied with looking for raid. So if I raid, I want to really raid. If I'm not going to raid, then I'm just going to stay away from it. And that was exactly what I was doing with Shadowlands. I tried LFR a couple times, didn't find much joy with it. Plus, I already had better gear. The gear system for Shadowlands leaves a lot to be desired. I know there have been some changes with 9.0.5, but overall, I didn't find the gear progression to be satisfying. I got great gear early, and then it just kind of stopped, and there was no way for me to really target getting any better. So I got away from that. I miss WoW. So my life cycle with WoW is that every expansion that comes out, I play for a big block of time. That block of time has decreased every expansion, and me missing it has decreased every expansion. I love the story of Shadowlands, though. I'm really hoping that I can find some impetus to jump back in at 9.1. I did all the story stuff for 9.0. I did do the LFR stuff and I did the raids. Me doing Shadowlands more now would just be doing the same content I've already done. There's nothing new for me to do in WoW right now. 9.1 there will be. I'm thinking I might jump back in, but to be frank, what I've been playing lately is Elder Scrolls Online. I had seen some ads that Elder Scrolls Online was actually getting ready to optimize a PlayStation 5 version for the PS5. And it wasn't out yet, but I just kind of got curious and I started thinking to myself that, hey, I'm going to give this a shot. I've tried Elder Scrolls Online in the past a couple times, both before and after the One Tamriel experience. Definitely didn't like it before that. After that, I thought it was cool, but I had a hard time finding my groove in that game. I had a hard time finding the path that was going to keep me playing, my hook to keep playing every day. There's like a daily reward thing, and actually that, FOMO, fear of missing out. If I don't log in a day, I don't get that reward, and I don't get the rewards at the end of the month that you get for playing every day. But still, just something was missing. Then, so this time around, I saw that they were going to release PS5 optimization, and then also the last expansion that they had introduced. Now I can't even think about it. It's something basically. It's kind of similar to archaeology in World of Warcraft, but basically you scrying, you you find these places in the world where you can go and find artifacts and furniture and all that stuff. But it's a mini game that I really found enjoyable, and I started playing the game with that. And it's kind of a reason for me to kind of go to new zones, because like these archaeology things that you go out into the world to find are in every zone of the game, and they're all unique to the zones that you find them in. And so I started going to new zones and doing stuff. And also, if you're not familiar, or even if you are, there's a lot to complete per zone in the game. Like, there's these continents and different, I guess, for lack of better terminology, one expansion will be a country, and we'll have a couple different zones that I would call states if you're looking at the analog to the United States of America, whatever. And so anyway, there's just zones with different things to do. Going and exploring delves, which are like soloable dungeons that are open to everybody. Dungeons themselves, going and completing story quests, all that kind of stuff. There's just a ton of stuff to do. So I was playing on PS5, which I was playing the PS4 port of. And, hey, got to keep my water. And I was enjoying that a bit. But on the PS5, or PlayStation console, let's call it console, on the console versions of Elder Scrolls, the one thing that's missing is the ease of communication. I'm an introvert. I'm not a very social person, even when it comes to MMOs. But I like the feel of MMOs in that I'm surrounded by other people, that there's an economy, that I can join certain activities that involve other people, and it's kind of a living, persistent world. That's what I love about MMOs. So not being able to easily text chat, you can, but it's not on the screen. Like the zone chat and all that kind of stuff is not on the screen on the console version, and you have to actually drill down by going to a menu, going to social, going to chat. It's not effective. It's not used very well. So I felt isolated. I felt like I was definitely in a solo game where some of the other NPCs were simply controlled by other people. The other thing that kind of drove me nuts is that at least on the console version, you cannot turn off all the foliage. In Elder Scrolls, to harvest things, you have to go find them in the world. You have to go find the wood and the cotton and the metal ore and all that fun stuff. With the exception of metal ore, because that's right usually up against, rocky terrain and stuff. That one's not too difficult to find. But like alchemy goods and woodcrafting goods and cloth working goods, for at least the cloth side of things, it is actually really difficult to find those things, especially as the game has grown and it's been able to take advantage of bloom effects and ground effects and all that kind of stuff. You literally cannot see most of that stuff through the grass in the ground, and you can't turn that off on console. That was starting to drive me nuts. So I kind of went away from that, and I started playing on PC again. And I honestly can't tell you well, no, that's not true. Part of what made the difference was the ability to go do the archaeology stuff. And it's absolutely driving me nuts that I can't remember what the heck that's called. But that gave me just enough incentive to go to new places to actually start looking at other things. And I am loving my time there. I love that I can log into Elder Scrolls and kind of pick an activity at any given time, or even shift during my playtime into something else, and I'm still making progress. With World of Warcraft, I need to be crafting, or I need to be doing dailies, or I need to be doing a set activity to kind of progress myself. With Elder Scrolls Online, I don't. If I want to quest, I can go quest. If I want to go crafting, I can go crafting. All of that is moving me forward in some direction. I know that there is a point where that will eventually end, but it is far off. Antiquities, yes, thank you so much. And for some reason, my my chat box is cutting off the first letter of what you're typing. But yes, Antiquities. It's not mind blowing. It's not the biggest thing that's going to make you, super powerful. It's, I mean, there are things that you can find, but I'm not at that point. It's not what I play every day. I'm not doing antiquities all the time. But it pushed me forward a little bit more than what I was used to, and it got me caring about other things in the game. So it definitely bridged something for me, that I'm really happy with, and I have been afraid of role playing. I used to do, D&D, Cyberpunk. I used to be an avid fanatic of tabletop role playing. When I got into EverQuest, I tried to role play, and I mean, this was back when EverQuest was brand new. And frankly, I know it's not the first MMO, so relax. But frankly, it's one of the first mainstream MMOs. And when I first started to play that, I tried to role play, and I think other people were doing the same thing. We were all finding new footing in this 3D MMO that was really a new thing to most people. And some of us were trying to role play and trying to get into our characters. And unfortunately, it's not really supported by the game. It actually makes the game actually works contradictory to actually role playing. Most MMOs do. It's just you have to work harder at role playing, I feel, in an MMO than you do with tabletop. So that being said, I've always kind of admired those people that are into role playing. I think sometimes it goes way too far, and there are some niche role playing groups that I just, hey, if that's what you're doing and that's what makes you happy, great. But as far as my sensibilities and my morals, you can kind of keep that. And I'm looking at you ERP players in Goldshire and World of Warcraft. In Elder Scrolls Online, there's vampire and werewolf roleplay, which not so extreme, I think, because I mean that fits into the Elder Scrolls universe, but that is not what I'm doing. But there are many other role playing types of things that go on, and there are a lot of role players. I think Lord of the Rings Online is probably the only MMO, excuse me, where there are more active role players out and about in the world. Lord of the Rings Online, roleplay fanatics, you have a special place in my heart. I tried. There are just some game things there that just frustrate me with Lord of the Rings Online, so I didn't really stick with it too much. But Elder Scrolls Online has a very active roleplay community, especially on PC, because again, you can't really text chat on the consoles effectively. Certainly didn't see anybody role playing on console, and I think that's a different kind of gamer anyway. There really is a difference in the mentalities of console versus PC gaming. Not saying either one is better than the other, and I happen to fit kind of happily in the middle of that. I love console gaming. I also love PC gaming. I'm not tied to any one of them, but I'm also not at any one of the extremes that I feel exist for those demographics of players. So I started role playing. To jump to where I'm getting to there, I started role playing in Elder Scrolls Online. I joined a crime syndicate that is no werewolf and vampire roleplay, which is good for me because I think that would kind of suspend my disbelief a little too much to be able to experience that. So I do that like once or twice a week. They have a really good roleplay system. It's not just roleplay. They have their own kind of metagame in there with a D20 system. And it's just been fun. So I'm enjoying that. I don't obsess about it. There are some of the guild members that I have in that role-playing guild that are always there to roleplay. Personally, if I'm enjoying myself most in Elder Scrolls when I'm actually progressing my character, when I'm clearing all those objectives about goals, when I get... there are some set antiquities that you can go find. Like every zone has a common rarity scry that you can do to go get that you just make a little bit of money on. And then it kind of progresses. So the common being green, once you do the green one, then it automatically unlocks the rare deed, which you have to skill up a little bit to even be able to do. But you do the blue one, and you can do each of those has like a little story bit that you can do 3 times. That doing it 3 times gives you all 3 parts of the story. Then once you do the blue one, then you go to the epic purple quality scry, which takes a lot more work to be able to do, and you can collect that one time for what you get out of that. But there are also rare antiquities. Like when you complete a zone, there's one that unlocks with vendors that you can buy and then go find the antiquity. And then there's also rare ones that you can get for earning certain achievements. There are rare ones that you can find in treasure chests or for killing monsters. So it's robust enough that it gives you something more to care about. You don't just go to a new zone, do the 3 of the green, 3 of the blue, 1 of the purple. There's also other opportunities to kind of get something out of that. So I love doing those things. I love the story quests. One of the things that, like with World of Warcraft that I did, is I finally earned Lore Master with Shadowlands. Lore Master, if you're not aware, is basically you do like 99% of the quest lines in the game. With the achievement system, originally it was just doing them, and it was difficult to know what you'd done. Now with the achievement system and improvements to the achievement system, it's tracked by zone and quest lines that you do. But I never finished Lore Master, which I found to be really odd. But then looking at the achievement system, I could see where my gaps were, and it kind of made sense that I had never done a couple places and whatnot. So Shadowlands came out, which then included Shadowlands questing, so it was a little more work on my plate to get it done than I needed to do if I had done it prior. But I finished it. So they have the same concept of kind of like achievement-based questing in Elder Scrolls Online. But it's a little bit different in that every zone has like a big story quest or a few story quests that tell the story of the zone and why you should care, and it actually leads into the next zone. So there is definitely a progressive questing system, and every new expansion or downloadable content zone that comes out has the same kind of thing. There are also side quests where you just go out into the random wild and there's someone there that offers a quest to go do something. I was trying to do every quest in the game, and I think this was also kind of some self-sabotage when I was trying to play the game before. Trying to do all the quests well. One of the benefits of story questing is that you get skill points through certain parts of it, and there's no real rhyme and measure. Like, not every story quest is going to have the same milestones to reach to get skill points. But you do earn a few skill points for every storyline quest that you do throughout a zone, so that's progressive to character development. The side quests don't. I didn't ever understand that before. I just had seen on forums and online that that questing gave you skill points. There wasn't much that I knew until... Ooh, I just got an email. I got a little ding there. There wasn't much that I knew about as far as how to make the most of my experience. And that's not to say that I don't enjoy side quests or that I shouldn't do side quests because they don't give skill points. It's just there is so much else to do in the game that I'm loving that I don't really need to I don't need to go do side quests to get the most out of the game. And at some point I might. There is definitely meta achievements that are tied to finishing everything in the game, and I know how I am, and I know if I'm enjoying playing Elder Scrolls Online that I will at some point go back to do those. But right now I think the pacing of just doing the story quests themselves without the side quests kind of gets me where I want to be, because I'm also doing other activities like the delves and the dungeons and the finding all the lore books in the area. So I'm doing story quests. There are a couple guilds in the game, the Fighters Guild, Mage Guild, Thieves Guild. I'm doing their story quests as well. I feel like I'm a part of something, and the one problem with all the side quests is it started to become kind of a shotgun blast of questing. I wasn't really able to follow the lore of the quests, and I don't care too much about lore. I'm not there to take notes on everything that's happening in the story, but it definitely does not make any kind of sense if you're trying to economize and maximize your effectiveness of like grabbing all the quests you can in an area and then completing everything together that's in one area that's all together, because it's built that way. You can do that. But the stories were definitely just jointed and not anything that I would care about because I couldn't follow along, thus I didn't even try. Doing the story quests as just the story quests Actually, I'm enjoying that a lot more. I'm actually following along the story. There are a couple things that are causing me to care about some things emotionally that I didn't before. And I will say the questing system in Elder Scrolls Online is unparalleled. First of all, the going and killing 40,000 boars to collect 10,000 meat questing system is almost non-existent. Every once in a while you run into a quest that's like go kill 5 spirits and collect their remains or whatever and bring it back, but it is a very significant minority. I would say like 2-3% of the quests tops, if even that. And when it's that, it doesn't bother me so much. The quests themselves are varied in objective enough that it really makes sense to what the content of the quest is within the context of the game while I'm playing it. That is phenomenal. There are enough quests to keep me busy forever, I think. Probably not forever, but they come out with downloadable content and expansions frequently enough that it's not going to be a long wait for new content. They do have raids, which are called trials. I have not done that yet. I have not hit level 50. I'm a little frightened by that because one of the other differences is Elder Scrolls is very action-based. I play with a controller, even on PC. They've tightened that up. Originally, that wasn't even offered. Then they released it, and it was terrible. Nowadays, it's actually very similar to the console experience. But I've got my keyboard right here. I can chat, and I can, get involved with other people and voice chat if I want through Discord. I'm iffy on the whole voice chatting, which is ironic, given that I am sitting here talking to you. But like when I'm playing the game, there's just so much going on in my background and everything, and I hate hearing other people with open mics. I feel it's a matter of, gaming respect. Please turn off your mic if you're not using it. Use push to talk, something like that. But if you're happy with it, whatever. But I'm not going to be in that situation. So voice chat is a big thing with trials, and it makes sense. You react to voice a lot more than sitting there trying to type out raid instructions. That's another thing that drove me nuts with looking for raid, is that was like the only real way to do it, unless someone popped a Discord link up in the chat, and then only half the people were going to be there, so they were having to type out instructions anyway. So lots of stuff for me to do in Elder Scrolls Online, and it's really, I am a whim-based player, which is really what this all kind of circles around to. The reason I don't think I would be an effective Cyberpunk streamer, for example, or Diablo 3 streamer, or Diablo 4, is because my gaming tastes change on a moment's notice. There's going to come a point, I'm sure, where Elder Scrolls, I'll just go to log in one day and be like, I don't feel like doing it. Something else has caught my attention. I'm already feeling the pull to other games. Inspired by Snyder Cut Justice League. And I haven't watched it yet, but I know I'm going to. And I actually want to rewatch all the DCUO movies. That's going to fuel me into wanting to play... DCU. That's going to fuel me into wanting to play DC Universe Online. I love that game. It's not as in-depth, so I don't usually tend to stay there very much, but I do love the systems. I think it's a fantastic MMO if you're into comics. It's done really well, especially if you like controller. I think their keyboard controls are actually pretty terrible in it. The first time I tried to play with keyboard on DCUO, it was not fun, but once I tried to use a controller, it's done brilliantly. It's the only MMO that used to have the only successful controller scheme, I feel. Elder Scrolls Online has done a good job now, and I like it. So anyway, feeling the pull for that. Also, Star Trek Online. I love the mission-based stuff because with Star Trek Online, I can log in, play a mission a day, whatever, and get somewhere. The problem is that at some point it starts to feel like, even though they have a pretty big story system, it starts to feel like just kind of doing the same thing over and over again. Unfortunately, the quests are all very similar. The space combat, while fun, is the same thing every time, which is unfortunate, but I got to get my Star Trek fix every now and then. But one thing I do want to do, one thing that I have always enjoyed, and I think I will continue to enjoy and hopefully can share with you, and I started to do that a little bit, is I kind of want to do a first-time play thing. I'm thinking of calling it Virgin Plays, just to be, a little avant-garde. And I'm actually going to be doing that here in a little bit today. I'm going to be playing Mr. Prepper. I want to play something that's kind of popular, that's getting people's attention, and really the experience that I want to share with that is the first time playing it. I haven't looked at anything. I haven't read any documentation on the game. I haven't gone to any forums. I don't know how it's played. I kind of want to take the raw experience of playing a game for the very first time, playing like an hour or so, and just kind of, going through my experiences with it. What am I loving? What am I not loving? Am I having some fun? Talk about some funny stuff that's going on, whatever the case may be. Mr. Prepper's caught my eye. I like resource management games. I mean, okay. I did read the tags of the game, and I looked at the initial screenshots of it. So I have an idea, at least really, really. I have the book jacket version of Mr. Prepper in my head. So I'm going to share that, and hopefully I'll have some fun streaming it, whether I enjoy the game or not. But it does kind of feel up my alley, kind of, prepare for dystopia, if you can. And we'll see how that goes. So my intent, and again, this is intent, and this is who I am. Take my intent as no promise whatsoever that I'm going to do something. I would like to do that on a regular basis. I would like to do that weekly, and then maybe start streaming some Elder Scrolls Online. Part of the problem, I think, with that, though, is Elder Scrolls Online is my game that I'm playing for me. I'm not playing that specifically to stream it. And so with that, I expect that I'll probably just be playing to enjoy it, maybe talking out loud about some thoughts, but not narrating it like I am now. And I personally don't find that to be compelling streaming content from other people. Just sitting there playing the game and not really talking through what you're doing or why you're doing it. I don't know. That to me just doesn't seem all that valuable. We'll see. Maybe I'll just feel that urge to share things as I'm going, and if so, whatever. But Gems of War is also another one that I'll probably stream from time to time. Just there are different things that you do every day that maybe could be valuable, especially certain events that come up every few weeks. Just joined a guild that doesn't have any focus on Guild Wars, though, which is a very refreshing guild to be in. Guild Wars being this idea that you have 4 troops for your army out of hundreds of troops that you could potentially have of different rarities, and every time you're playing, you're using 4 active troops or 3 troops and a weapon, and you've got your setup and you're actively playing. But what you also do is you set a defense team that the game plays with its AI. So Guild Wars is the thing that comes around once a month where you actually, for 5 days through the week, you battle 5 different guilds with setting up specific defense teams for every day of that week. And then you, on those days of the week, battle against all the defense teams that have been set up for that one guild for the day. You're encouraged. You get more points for using a specific color of the day, or it's 6 days, sorry. And there's brown, yellow, red, green, blue, purple. So you want to make a brown, each of your troops uses 1 or 2 or 3 of those colors of mana. So you want to use on red day, you want to use all troops and weapons that have red as at least one of their mana cost. It was a fun system at first, but the rewards for doing this are terrible. You don't get much out of it except a higher ranking. And I'm not an EP player. I don't really care what rank my guild is. And I don't really care much about advancing that. I am a terrible guild member in that regard, I guess. So the rewards are not great for that. You don't get much out of it, but there is so much effort into building a good Guild Wars team to get the highest score every day of the week, and then eventually have the highest score in your bracket. There's such a push for that to be successful and doing things the right way. The effort to reward ratio is terrible. And I have hated Guild Wars for a long time. I love everything else about that game, but I hate the Guild Wars stuff. So I'm in this mega guild, and which is just a collection of like 7 different guilds right now, I think. And so right now, they started a new guild that had no focus on Guild Wars whatsoever, but a heavy focus on the other aspects that I do enjoy for the guild. And it's got a high gold requirement, which is good because that gold requirement is spent on tasks for the guild that give everybody in the guild rewards. So while at first I viewed the gold requirement of some guilds as like a terrible thing, like, oh, I have to spend so much guild to earn my way into the guild. Now that I've played the game for over a year nonstop, I understand the benefits of that, and everyone in the guild benefits for it. So having a higher gold requirement in the guild actually benefits me more because everyone else is paying that same amount of gold as well at a minimum, and we're getting more and more stuff out of it, and that stuff is good. So I'm enjoying that stuff. I'm not enjoying Guild Wars, but the other parts of Gems of War I really am enjoying, and to be able to be in a guild that aligns with that better is brilliant and perfect. And we just started it last week, and I'm really enjoying the focus of that. Though every guild can have up to 30 players. We actually only had 20. We should have 30 here pretty soon, but all the goals in the game are based around the idea that you will have 30 members in your guild to accomplish those things with. And even with only 20, we're still knocking that stuff out. So it's good. I feel like I'm doing some good stuff in the game. It's fun. But again, I'm only playing it for like an hour a day with the requirement stuff in mind as well. So, but I will be streaming some of those events. What else? I'm also playing some Torchlight and Torchlight 2. I think Torchlight 3, which came out recently, was not well received. I think it's getting to a place of stability now. I have always enjoyed the Torchlight games. I want to play Torchlight 3. I have never actually beat Torchlight 1 and 2, though. So, playing a bit of Torchlight 1 on my PC, playing a bit of Torchlight 2 every day. It's kind of my go-to-sleep game with Torchlight 2. I play it late at night, and I'm enjoying it. I'm not saying the game itself is putting me to sleep. Like, if I were to go play it right now, I could play it for hours and I'd have a lot of fun with that. But it's just a good game for me to kind of wind down for at the end of every night, and so I enjoy that. And I want to beat both of those before I dive into Torchlight 3, and it's stable enough. Maybe the mechanics are not popular for Torchlight 3, whatever the case may be there. I'm going to give it a shot. I think I'll like it, just based on what I've seen in the mechanics. So you won't be seeing any Torchlight 2 streaming there, at least not at first. One of the things I love about Torchlight 2 is the modding community. I'm not a fan of game mods. I believe in playing the game as it was meant to be played. I don't typically have fun playing other people's vision of the game. There have been rare exceptions to that, but for the most part, if a game has mods, I'm usually not using it unless somebody has fixed a gaping problem in the game, or there's just something that really grabs my attention. Torchlight 2 has some phenomenal mods, though. There are people who have built mods to the game that they've created characters that are far more fleshed out than the characters that come with the game. There are people who've basically rewritten the game to flow a lot smoother, with different themes. I've played some of that before in Torchlight 2, and as an exception to the rule, it's been a lot of fun, and I'd like to do that. So maybe once I beat Torchlight 2 on PC and probably give my run of Torchlight 3 a shot, I may stream some Torchlight 2, whatever. Otherwise, the only other thing that I kind of want to address is this shiny spot right here. I hate my lighting in the room. That's part of the planned upgrade stuff to get some forelighting here, which will make. I have a green screen, but lighting from above. And actually, the only place that the green screen actually worked was where the lighting from above was kind of split between the foreground and background. And it just didn't work. It's really grainy, and I can't get a good green screen effect where I'm detached from the green screen at all without doing lighting. So that's on the planned list. Get some foreground lighting so I can actually green screen some stuff. I know when I was streaming World of Warcraft, I'm in a little thumbnail area in the bottom corner, but you can see the background here. it's I need to paint this room first of all, but this is not good stuff. I don't think. At least I'm not happy with it being in the background there. You could always do a backdrop, but frankly, I want to be a floating head in the game that you're watching me stream, so that's what I'm going to do. But yeah, this whole being bald and the light shining right down on me, that's something that always caught my attention when I was reviewing my streaming stuff. So um, let's see what else is going on. Not really much of anything else. Just wanted to kind of come back to this. I'm glad I gave it a shot a couple months ago. I'm not glad with how it turned out, but I'm glad that I can, I think, fortunately learn from the experience and have a better perspective, because I was really just kind of doing myself no favors and sabotaging what I was kind of going for and caring about the wrong things for me. Anyone who streams, whatever reason you stream for, that's your business, and I don't judge anyone who can do this for a living. I mean, frankly, if you're successful enough as a streamer that you can do this as a living and make a good living at it, like I know some people do, then that is your calling and that's what you're doing, and good for you. And I watch some of those streamers. There are some people who just, every once in a while pop in and do a thing and are just have no content, and whatever that is, you're being courageous. You're doing something that you want to do. That's fantastic. That's good for you. I'm somewhere in the middle. I want to do something regularly. I would like to get a fan base, not to be popular, but to be talking with the same crew every day. I want friends out of this. If there's any other way to kind of put this, I want to know that I want to know that I'm effective enough that I'm reaching out to people on a regular basis because what I have to say is meaningful to them and they're enjoying the content. So if that's you, then fantastic. Tell some people. I will be on Twitch and then pushing that over to YouTube. So either or both of those places, toss me a like, subscribe. That's really the biggest thing that you can do to help me be successful here. But if you're even still just joining just to watch every now and then, that's great too. I'm happy to have you here. But I definitely expect to be streaming more, and again is really the better word, not necessarily more, because I know I disappeared from that. But I would also love for you to kind of come along on the journey with me. This is going to be a work in progress. This is growth. There's a technical side of things as I get new equipment, better production quality. As you can see, there's like nothing on my screen. So be it. And I don't want it to be overly blingy. I know there's a reason for that, and it catches people's attention. And when you're looking at a thumbnail, it's going to be more likely to catch your eye if they've done some custom graphic and stuff. I don't know how far I'll get with that. But also, my personal growth as a streamer and gamer and human being in general, you're going to get to know me. You're probably not going to get to know every in and out of any specific game I'm playing, but you will get to know me and you'll get to know my quirks. I'm not coming to this with any agenda. I don't need attention for any specific facet of my life, but at the same time, I do best being the best me and the most me that I can be. So you're going to get to know those quirks about me and those things that are going on in my life because, frankly, like I said, I want to have friends from doing this. And if you're watching this on a regular basis, it's a connection between us, and that's what I'm going to value most. I did a podcast for a while with my buddy Spencer, and that was the most satisfying part of it, was that I think every day we put on masks to do what we want to do. Like I go to work and I'm wearing, work face decal mask. I'm going to work every day. You're seeing that side of me. I work with clients a lot, so I have to have a persona for that. It's not naturally who I am. I'm not hiding who I am. Don't take that to mean that I'm being somebody entirely different, but it is a persona that I'm adopting that is a deviation from how I am talking to you or whoever, or with my wife or with my kids. I think whatever slice of our personal demographic sphere we're talking to, we relate to people in different ways. And that's an okay thing. I'm not trying to be dishonest about who I am. But you want to, I think, if you're watching this and you're continuing on, that you're connecting with me because of who I am. And when I was doing the podcast before, I felt like that was actually the one place that I wasn't wearing a persona. We were having fun. We were doing lots of great things. It was just me being able to be me, talking about the things that I love talking about. And we talked about comics and games and movies, and that was just that was freeing, so that when I went back to all those other roles I have with the different relationships in my life, I had the satisfaction of being able to let myself out so that I could adopt those personas better and be more effective in them. It was just more satisfying, and that's what I want to kind of get out of this. So that's for me. Hopefully, it's entertaining for you. Let me know if you're watching this on Twitch. Subscribe and feel free to chat through whatever streams I'm doing. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, all those things to get some visibility to this. Not necessarily because I want to be popular, but because I want people who might resonate with what I'm delivering to have the opportunity to see that I'm actually even there and make a choice for themselves on whether they want to watch or not, rather than letting the infamous YouTube algorithm make a decision for them. Either way, it has been a pleasure to come back to this and share with you who I am, what I'm doing, and why I'm doing it. Expect to see more of me. I had the intent of doing this today, and I'm gonna stream the Mr. Prepper stuff a little bit later. I had the intent of doing this today because it has just been inside me this whole time, and I wanted to get it out. When I saw Mr. Prepper on the list, and I thought to myself, wow, you know what? I would love to do something like that. I would love to stream the first time I play something like that. It's a small indie game that's really popular right now. I would love to share what my experience is through that. And then that kind of got me thinking about how much I just missed being in front of this camera doing this. So sitting here talking to you for the last hour and 1 minute has felt really good. And I am happy to be here again. I hope you're happy to see me again if you've watched before, or hope that if this is the first thing that you see of content that I provide, that it speaks to you in some way. And even if you disagree with what I'm saying, or whatever the case may be, I'm very approachable. Let me know. And I will hopefully see you again soon. Thank you. It has been a wonderful last hour, and I'm happy to have shared with you, and I hope to see you again soon. Ciao.